What's crack, it's VangelinaSkov, and today we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Ryland Adams, as well as Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. A big group of people who we seem to be talking about constantly lately. But that's just because they're in a bit of a feud, and it all seems to be mostly revolving around the actions of Jeffree Star. Now, I've already talked about everything going on between Trisha and Jeffree in previous videos, but there have been some new developments. So in today's video, I'm just going to be giving you a very quick overview of what has been going on up until now, since I've already made videos on those topics. I won't be going too much into it, as well as what happened recently with Ryland's response to Trisha and her calling out him and Shane. But before we get into that, please subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications when I upload. And if you would like to, you could also check out the Patreon or the memberships with the links in the description, where you can get extra benefits like blooper reels and extra videos and early access to stuff, things like that. Now let's talk about Trisha again. I feel like I've been talking about Trisha Paytas constantly. I have made quite a few videos on her, but it's only because she always seems to be involved with something, and especially lately there's a lot going on. Whenever there is drama involving Shane Dawson or Jeffree Star, recently they've both been in drama together, it usually keeps going on and on and on, and more stuff gets added. And now that Trisha has gotten involved with drama with them, that seems to be the case here. It just doesn't stop. So Ryland Adams does have a podcast, which we have mentioned before, because recently, after all the drama that had gone down with Shane, Ryland had Jeffree Star on his podcast. Now that's not what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about a more recent episode where he addresses the situation with Trisha Paytas and talks about his response to that. Now, if you don't already know, Trisha Paytas has recently called out Shane Dawson and Ryland Adams for supporting Jeffree Star and called them the scum of the earth. She's been quite public about being very upset with them, despite the fact that she's been friends with them for years, for the fact that they are constantly supporting Jeffree Star when, in her view and in most people's view, he's a terrible person who bullies people and has other much more serious accusations against him. Now, Trisha was also friends with Jeffree for a few years, but recently there's been a huge falling out because Trisha claims that Jeffree and his friends, including somebody called Hair by Jay, have been bullying her, making fun of her for her weight, her skin, her the amount of money that she has, the fact that her house is rented, her substance abuse issues. Absolutely anything that they could make fun of her for, they did, and they did it quite brutally. Now, I've already made videos discussing the previous issues with Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star and Hair by Jay, so all those videos are going to be linked in the description, so you can watch those if you want to. But if you already know what's going on and you're all caught up, let's talk about Ryland. So, Ryland addressed all of this, addressed Trisha calling him and Shane out. His main message of this whole segment on the podcast seemed to be that he was confused. He didn't understand why this was happening, he didn't understand why Trisha had reacted this way, and he seems to have thought that nothing was ever going on. And he said that maybe he could understand that Trisha had a hard time expressing her feelings about her opinions on Jeffree to Ryland and Shane, but he wishes that she had just talked to him because he can't read her mind. And he would have appreciated being able to talk about it, have a discussion about it, and sort it out from there. And he also claims that after he had Jeffree Star on the podcast, something which Trisha claimed she was quite angry about, him and Shane hung out with Trisha afterwards, and she never said anything. So basically he's just claiming, I didn't know there was ever any problem. The first I heard of this was online, and I wish she'd just talk to me because I never realized she even had an issue with Jeffree Star. Now, on the other hand, Trisha claims that everything that Ryland said about this was a lie, that he was just lying, that he did know that she had an issue with him, and that he's just acting like he didn't know to try and get out of it or save face. She also made several other comments that I won't go too deeply into, but she said things alluding to Shane and Ryland not ever being very good friends to her, and I don't know why I said alluding rather than outright saying, because that's pretty much what she said, and claims, I'm only around when Shane falls, meaning that he's only really her friend or hangs out with her or whatever you want to call it, when he's going through a rough time or when people are against him. Doesn't really sound like the basis for a great friendship. So the question then is, who is telling the truth here? Is Ryland genuinely confused, or is Trisha telling the truth? And in this situation, most people seem to be siding with Trisha because it seems like she would have no reason to lie about this, whereas Ryland would. And because in most people's opinions it seems unlikely that there's no way Ryland knew nothing about any of this, didn't know anything about Jeffree Star allegedly bullying Trisha, or about any of the other stuff going on. And as well as that, Trisha wasn't just mad that Shane and Ryland were still supporting Jeffree after he was mean to her. She was mad that they were supporting him after all of the allegations that had come out about Jeffree, both about her because she was friends with Ryland and Shane and probably expected more from them, and the more serious allegations regarding harassment everything that went on with Jeffree there. And Ryland definitely knew about those allegations. Whether he believes them or not is a completely different topic. Now, before I started making this video, I watched a video from iNabber, who's someone I don't watch videos of very often, but I don't know why, because I always enjoy them. I think it's because I don't have time to watch anybody's videos ever. But he seems to be of the firm opinion that Ryland knew what was going on, and again, he's just trying to save face. And his reason for pointing this out was that in Ryland's response in the podcast, Jeffree Star's response to other allegations, and Shane Dawson's response to allegations against him, they all had the likes and dislikes turned off, as well as having the comments turned off. And although people might believe that that's just so that the video can stand on its own and speak for itself, iNabber makes the argument that they have these things turned off just so that there's no discourse. Because a lot of their following on YouTube will not follow them on social media. That's just a fact. And a lot of them won't watch commentary channels. So the only information that they have about the dramas going on are from their own videos, from Shane's videos, from Ryland's videos, and from Jeffree's videos. And so if no one in the comments is calling them out, and somebody only watches that video, doesn't follow them on social media, doesn't watch commentary channels, that's all they're going to know about it. So he thinks that that is the way that these creators managed to cut down the backlash against them. I will link that video in the description as well for you so you can watch that too. And in another piece of news about Shane Dawson, see what I mean when I say whenever there's controversy about these people, it just keeps going and it never stops. Snowballing. That's the word. In a comment, it is alleged that Shane is just as mean girlish as Jeffree apparently is, and talks about everybody behind their backs. Says, as if this is news, he always spoke about everyone behind their backs, including many of the kindest fellow top creators he outwardly supported. It's what insecure people do best. He has no genuine friends who are in the spotlight. None of those kind of people do, as they see everyone as competition or are intimidated or threatened by their success. Sad. Now, there is a lot more that I could talk about, but I think I'm going to leave it here. I think this is enough to give you an overview of what's going on. But I would love to hear what you think about this whole situation. Are you on Trisha's side, on Ryland's side? Do you just not like any of them? Do you think they're all liars? And if you don't want to comment about any of that, then let me know in the comments what your favorite kind of snack or sweet treat is, because comments help my engagement, and also because I've been craving chocolate ice cream so badly for like 2 weeks. And for some reason, I haven't just gone and bought any. I don't even know if they have any ice cream in the shops right now because it's January. They might not have ice cream. And I don't want to go to the shop just for ice cream, but I would really love some chocolate ice cream. So I'm going to say in this current moment, chocolate ice cream is my favorite. Although it's not always. And before we go as well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I'm not going to say it in the same monotonous tone every outro, but I would really appreciate that. Really want to get the channel to 40,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it if you were to help that happen by subscribing. So please, thank you very much. And you can also follow me on social media. There's a significant amount of you who watch me here and don't follow me on social media. So like, do that. Instagram specifically. Thank you very much. Anyway, like, comment, share, do all the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do at the end of a video, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.